Why do we do art? Why is it that I started doing art and doing digital drawing? And why is it that sometimes we don't even remember why we started doing this to begin with, and all we know is frustration? I've been actively practicing and learning how to draw and paint now. And when I first started, I was very excited to, learn. I signed up for a few courses, watched a few tutorials. But of course, as we all know, improving and learning art is a lot more than just signing up for a couple courses or just following a few tutorials and following along. It requires a lot more work and hard work and dedication in order to actually improve. And then for a lot of us, as we start, we're very excited and passionate. And then it comes a point for some of us, including myself, that we think, I need to take this seriously. This is my passion. I need to improve, and maybe I can make this a full-time thing. So we just start practicing more and more. We start taking it seriously. We start really focusing on maybe the fundamentals or trying to practice and learn. Maybe we work on our portfolio to try and get that going, or we try to do it our own and, do things that we think people are gonna like. And this is the point where we get so obsessed with learning and improving, and we get so obsessed with just posting our art online, and then it just doesn't get the reach, doesn't get the likes. And then all we know and all that remains is that frustration. We're so focused on the goal that if any of these things don't go our way, we are left with nothing but frustration. And this is really the point where a lot of us find ourselves in this situation. This is the point where we've lost all joy in our art. We've lost and we forgot how excited we were when we first started drawing, and we forgot the joy in the process of creating art. The goal that we have set in our mind becomes everything, and we forget completely about the process of creating art. And this is the point where we all have really lost. We've lost the purpose of becoming an artist and the real reasons we became artists. So I am here and I wanted to remind you all and remind myself to remember the joy. We all started doing this because we were very excited and passionate about this, and we set our goals, but then we forgot why we started doing this. And of course, I am not saying that having the goals and being, consistent and dedicated and trying to learn is a bad thing. Of course, these are great things, and I continue to do them and I continue to try and improve. But let's remember that it is not the only thing. Let's try and remember to enjoy the process of learning, enjoy the process of making art. So in the same way that I'm saying there is joy in the process of making art, there should also be joy in the process of improving and achieving our goals. I just remember myself when I first started learning art seriously, there was so much excitement in knowing that there's so much to learn, and just learning and improving step by step at the beginning was very exciting. And slowly, as time went by, that excitement was replaced by frustration because the results were not coming as fast as I wanted to. But now I try and remind myself that there's still excitement in just the process of learning and improving. Now, don't get me wrong, frustrations, failures, or just not improving as much as we want, or stress is part of the process, it's part of learning. If we don't have those things, that means we're not challenging ourselves enough. But we should remind ourselves or make sure that it does not take control of our art process. And every time I remind myself of this, I find that my art is becoming looser, more fluid, and more dynamic. And the results sometimes are even better when I'm just so focused on the result or the final painting and really structured and all of that. So now, how are practical ways to actually bring that joy back if we're struggling with it? I think this is something that really works for me. Every once in a while, I try and think about making a drawing or a painting or just a session of drawing where the purpose is not to, post it at all anywhere. I make it a goal or really intentionally that this thing that I'm doing, no one will ever see. And when I do that, it helps me or gives me permission to experiment more, to, try new things. And, doesn't matter what happens at the end of it, because I know in my mind that this painting or this drawing or this session, no one's ever gonna see. And when I do that, I find myself experimenting more, learning more, and trying new things. And when I do this, I realize that all the pressure associated with improving and making a perfect piece, or making something that will get likes or get a lot of reach on social media is gone. And I find that I enjoy the process a lot more, and it reminds me of the joy that I had when I first started drawing. So I really invite you to try this. Try to spend maybe even an hour where you sit down and you just do things, draw things, paint things where you know that no one's ever gonna see. And when you do that, you'll find yourself trying new things, experimenting, and bring the joy back into your art and into your process. Now, if you want to see more about me and my story and how I got into art and how I reached here, you can watch this video here.